Amazon, you sneaky bunch of SOBs. Hey everyone, this is Kevin, your Apptrepreneur. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time visiting and you happen to like this video, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell notification. It really helps out with the algorithm and you'll get access to sweet content on a near daily basis. So let's talk about Amazon again, because Amazon has been in the news a lot recently and they just get worse. They just get worse. Seriously, I don't know how I went through 3 years of this channel's life without talking about this company in depth. They are just so scummy. But let's just jump right into it. Jeff Bezos was at a company shareholder meeting. And by the way, this shareholder meeting, as I talked about in a previous video, like yesterday, I believe, was one where the shareholders were going to grill Amazon about their employee safety policy. Now, here's the thing. I don't expect it to be like a hard grilling. I don't expect it to be like, a CNN or Project Veritas type grilling. I think it's just like, hey, we would like to get your, word officially on this situation where Amazon was accused of firing people because they complained about safety conditions. By the way, I believe they totally were fired. Can't prove it, of course. That's one of the sad things about this. But I can make a pretty compelling argument that Amazon did do this and that they're actually continuing to do it. But Bezos, of course, is defending the firing of the activist employees. And this is what he said. We didn't fire anyone for speaking out about working conditions, I'll bet. We support every employee's right to criticize their employer's working conditions, but that also doesn't mean that they're allowed to not follow internal policies. But for sure, your rights to protest working conditions, we take that super seriously, and we have no problem with that at all. This was in response to, of course, the 6 fired employees who raised a stink about Amazon's working condition during the C virus pandemic, and even talked about the unsafe working conditions in the warehouse in general. I mean, all of them were instrumental in getting that story to be public news, but Amazon didn't fire them for that. No. They fired them for not following company protocol. The company protocol that the company itself wasn't even following, which was why they complained in the first place. Well, you can't win for trying, right? Anyway, this comment. We didn't fire anyone for speaking out about working conditions. I don't think that I call BS on that. And we support every employee's right to criticize their employer's working conditions. Yeah, which is why when the story leaked, what also leaked were memos from other Amazon employees who more or less confirmed that these employees were fired for, causing a stink about safety conditions, and were even publicly debating, well, not publicly, but internally debating in their emails how to make those people look less credible and bad so that they could take away from the fact that they were firing them for, objecting to the company. Look, I was talking to my friend Uberman Tampa, and he didn't even hesitate. He said, yeah, they fired these people because they made the company look bad. Now, I think he was, I don't know, actually, I don't really know whether he was okay with that or not. I'm going to assume he wasn't, but yeah, it's like everyone knows what it is. We see it, we know. It's not a big surprise. Now, here's the funny thing, and this is what's going to be the kicker for this video. At the end, he says, but for sure, your rights to protest working conditions, we take that super seriously, and we have no problem with that at all. Obviously, that must not be true, because several days before this comment was made, Amazon suspended a warehouse worker after he was handing out union flyers. Right. Yeah, sure. We've got your back. You can protest us. It says right here, an Amazon warehouse worker says he was suspended after handing out flyers encouraging colleagues to join a union. John Hopkins' account of his May 2nd suspension from Amazon's DSF4 facility in California is the latest example of the e-commerce giant allegedly cracking down on critics during the C virus pandemic. Amazon told Hopkins he was sidelined for violating social distancing rules meant to protect workers from the highly contagious virus. Why is that the only thing that they're... this is something that's going to be bothersome to me. Look, I believe in social distancing. I believe in the masks. You know this. But here's the thing. I am a little concerned right now about how this is going to become the new thing that companies can use to fire you over. Now, it doesn't say whether or not he was wearing a mask or not, but you know what? They say, hey, you weren't practicing social distancing. So basically, I guess the act of actually going next to someone and handing them a flyer, that is considering violating social distancing guidelines, which, hey, unfortunately, from a legal perspective, from what I understand, you can probably make that case, unfortunately. But here's the problem. It's still linked to someone who was protesting. Why is it every time these warehouse workers are publicly fired and it gets out, every single time it's because we find out they were part of a protest or they were bringing safety issues to Amazon's attention? You never see a headline like, hey, this person was fired because they fell asleep at the wheel of a forklift and drove the forklift into a conveyor belt. You don't hear things like that. It's always, every single time, well, they're not practicing social distancing. Yeah, you know what? Maybe they weren't. I don't know. I think they were. And I think the only reason Amazon is firing these employees is because they made the company look bad. And by the way, this comment that Bezos made, again, it was at a shareholder meeting, and they weren't going to push that hard. They just want something on the record for the public. But hey, you know what? I am part of the public. I don't own, well, the funny thing is I actually might own a share in Amazon. Not a share, but like a fractional share, because I think in a pinch we had to get like a card. And we stopped by Whole Foods and bought a card, and I used my stash card, and I got a 2% of the purchase in Amazon stock. So I think I do have a fractional share of Amazon, but otherwise I'm not an investor, and I would be perfectly fine if this company burned to the ground. But I'm seeing that. I'm seeing all of this, and it's like, nope, I don't believe you. I think you're firing people because out of retaliation because they are making you look bad. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's not what's going on. Maybe you don't agree. I would like to know. Press 598 to let me know that you got to the end of the video in the comments when you comment below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.